that touch one-on-one was missing. So by at least bringing it down to smaller groups, it enables us to know each other better. Starting with these groups, you will know each other in the group better. And is this grouping only for this year? No, for eternity. You would think that maybe we'll stop after your children are done. I said, your spiritual unfoldment doesn't stop. So I would say eternity. As long as you are in Dallas, we will continue with these groups. So you'll know the group really well. And within, the knowing, the bonding, the family expansion, it starts helping to know each other. And I will also start knowing each group better. Probably down the lane I will start knowing each one of you better, so that I can have a face with a name tag in my head. Presently I know the faces, Hari Om, बस उसके बाद तो मालूम ही नहीं है. And sometimes they have introduced their names to me. I would not remember them. Yes, on one Sunday, there are 400 people introducing their names. I have not trained my brain to remember that many. It becomes difficult. So it enables us to know each other better. The first and foremost factor. When we call ourselves, we stand as one family, not knowing each other, it is looking too bad. The second is that we take a serious step towards our own spiritual unfoldment. The kids, they get a very beautiful systematic approach towards Hinduism as well as their own self-unfoldment when they go through kindergarten through 12th grade. And some of these kids who have been tag-alongs, whose older sibling has been a part of Balavihar, but they have not yet been enrolled, they tend to know, because was it kindergarten in the second session, I think, all these siblings were the second generation whose older sibling was already in Balavihar. Usually I had never seen a kindergarten class start chanting entire invocation shlokas and Guru Stotram, and they were ready. Bhagavad Gita shlokas? They were asking me, sitting right next to me, no Bhagavad Gita class today? Okay. I know that these are seasoned because they have been coming. So the influence, children are very lucky here to get that kind of a structured approach. Now you all brought these kids in here because you value what we teach them in Saket. At least that is my supposition. You all value this, right? That is why you bring. So that which you value for your kids, wouldn't it be of the same value for yourself? I am not expecting an answer. I am thinking it is a yes. So it is our own growth. And in the study groups, the way Gurudev designed it, he saw that the group synergy really works well. First, you understand each other, you know each other better, and then there is a particular syllabus that we follow. The present text or syllabus that we are going to take up is called self-unfoldment. It's called a manual of self-unfoldment. Whenever you get an electronic gadget, you do get a user guide, right? Whenever we are born, we don't come with a user guide, right? I wish we were born with a user guide with a remote. ज़्यादा आवाज कर रहा है, mute. If the child is appearing little dull, the brightness बढ़ा दो. We are not born with all these. We are to figure many things in life. So this particular book, A Manual of Self-Unfoldment, The first time I read that book was in '89, and so far I have read that book at least 60-70 times. The first time I read that, I thought it was an introductory text to beginners. But after having gone through the entire Vedantic text, when I go back and read that book again, it seems as fresh as it was then, which can mean two things. But the fact is that that book is, my prostrations to Gurudev, such an amazing work that he has presented through that book, that even a beginner finds it very encouraging, and a person who has gone through it, studied, and has had lot of Vedantic study, comes back to that book finding surprising that everything that is at a later part that you have for your unfoldment, you find it being covered in details in that book. It is such a beautiful, profound text. So that is what we are going to take, and we will focus on taking up one chapter at a time. We have 31 Sundays of this, when we don't have these stage presentations and other Sundays. So we will have 31 satsang Sundays. During these 31 satsang Sundays, probably 4 or 5 Sundays we will use them for question answers, wherein each group, all these groups come back here. After the Bhagavad Gita class, we don't disperse into our study groups, but we will continue with your question answers of that month. What kind of question answers? When you are in the study group, there are 4 people in a sequence of your alphabetical order, or whatever is the grouping or the way we list it out. 4 people per week will read through the entire chapter. So you have a homework. So you have to go through the entire chapter, write a synopsis or come up with a synopsis as to what you have understood through that chapter, and also expand on it, trying to explain as to how you will find it applicable, usable in your day-to-day life. See, we have our own experiences, our own mindset, our own way of growing up, the way we have grown up. So our approach towards life, our own mind, we have various experiences that guides it. So each one's perspective is different. So when 4 or 5 of us come up with various perspectives, various angles, which usually starts the discussions. And when we say it starts the discussions can lead to arguments. Arguments can lead to Srinivas is saying, it really gets to strong opinionated conclusions. So in order to maintain the entire study group on track, we will provide facilitators to each group, or mediators, moderators, not mediator, moderators. So they can moderate the entire group to focus on the topic. Now there would be situations wherein there are 2 different opinions and they don't meet. One of the oldest study group questions, I'll tell it right away, and I'm sure after 3 months or 4 months you're going to ask this question, predict it for you. So they say that vasanas lead to karma, and karma further leads to vasanas. When the first creation was created, when the first thing was created, was it that there were already these impressions, or was there karma? Which one was the first? Anda murgi, the seed and the tree, you will come to that. So why don't you answer it right now? Maja nahi aayega. We will wait for that time. When you come up with that question, we will answer it then. So there will be many such queries, many such different opinions. So we will bring it on the last Sunday of every month. Every month, last Sunday, we will meet and go over all your questions. So the facilitator or the group lead on each group, it is your job to jot down all such difference of opinions or questions and lack of clarity. You will jot them down, and after the Bhagavad Gita class, we will continue with this question answers. If there are too many of them, we will probably postpone the Bhagavad Gita class and answer them using the entire 1.5 hours. So this is how we plan to have this study group pattern. Now once we start bonding with each other, what are the other benefits of this? Back in Vijayawada, I used to have study groups, 34 of them. So whole day I used to have study groups. And in each study group I used to have average around 20 people. So if I have a huge project, I have to spend a lot of time in trying to break that project down into 34 small pieces. Okay, what is her alphabet? No, yours. She is a part of this group? Okay, you just cut and paste yourself. There are many techniques, right? Drag and drop. You ask the kids to move from this to that, they keep, that is drag and drop. You get up and sit on the place, just cut and paste. So when I used to have these huge projects, I'll tell you what kinds of projects too. I used to break it down, spend time in breaking it down into smaller 34 parts and explain it to these 34 groups, each one of their roles. And when small part is given to these 20 people, there is an effective output. At the end of it, all that I have to do is pool the entire parts together and the entire project is effectively executed. Now what kind of projects are we talking about? Now Guruji's camp is coming up. There are a lot of activities that we have to do in preparation for his camp. So we can break that camp down into various activities and each one of these groups can take a small part of it and fine tune it and get that particular part running. So there are various such benefits. Or if there is say Saket, this is our like extended home. So in maintaining this Saket, each group can be given one task. Like I can give this group saying that before and after the entire congregation meets and leaves, I can ask one group to take responsibility of entire stage. So between you can rotate, and the entire stage including the altar, then the Aarti Thali and everything. So one of you can take lead into organizing various other stuff. So I can start using this volunteer pool for making Saket run smooth for our own benefit. Or what has been successful, which is a brilliant idea that I have found in Houston and Chicago, is they have 2 sessions or 3 sessions, and in between sessions there is one group per session which takes the responsibility, say a group having 20 people, 20 plus. So 2 groups come together between sessions and they bring Mahaprasad. Prasad is 1 spoon, Mahaprasad is a decent meal. And they distribute it to the entire congregation. Now this distribution is done as a fundraiser, a silent, painless fundraiser. They charge $2 per plate, with food of course. So $2. I am sure most of you, when you either come from a restaurant or go to a restaurant, either way, whatever the timing suits. And with having 2 hours of this Balavihar, most of these kids do get hungry as soon as Bagla is done. So you are rushing to the nearby restaurants. And it can make a good fundraiser, that even if you have 100, 200 people having it, how many of us are here? We just counted 100. So we have 200 kids. 100 times 2, 200 kids, roughly. So even if there are 150, 200 people having this prasada, how much are we raising per week? I'm a little weak in my math. 400 per month. 1600. नहीं, उसके मैं बाद में आऊँगा ना मैं नहीं मैंने सोच रखा है. So it's like per month it is 1600. Between first and second session they have a lunch session. Between, so that amount whatever they raise and this amount, it can take care of the entire expenses for the maintenance of this saket easily. All its wear and tear and usage, everything, it takes care of itself. So this entire group, I mean, how much do you spend when you go to a restaurant? Average, I know it depends. It depends which restaurant you go, what cuisine you pick up, but on an average, how much do you spend with a family of 4? I know you had something really smart, but what was it? 449. For how many people? 449? Oh, per person it is $4.49. So for 4, then it is $12 or $20. So that is the minimum most. Here, average, he is giving minimum. So average minimum would be around $20. You would be spending that amount and you will be supporting sakets too. I don't want this activity right away as of next week. That is not my plan. First you have to bond as a group, you have to know each other, understand the purpose of it and see the effectiveness of it. Somewhere down the lane, probably 6 to 8 months down the lane, we will think of this. This is not something that I am planning for. This is not at all, that will be a byproduct in the future. But as of now, we will focus on the main things. So we have now 5 groups. And we have a limitation of space. We have only certain rooms here. The smallest group can take this room here, just next to the stage. You what now, 15 people? Including him? Have you put your name in there? Still 13? Oh, we have one more from outside. From the front desk, Roli ji. Oh, she is also another R. Since her husband is here, I'll put her there. Haji? Oh, you are waiting for her to move in there. So, आप भी इनका group में आ जाइए. So, you have your group can go here. Did I give you a name? Shankara. So your group is Shankara. Shankara group goes here. So you are how many people? 20, 21. So the entire Chinmaya group can use the kitchen area. The dining area, you have arrangements for chairs and everything. You can use that space. Then we have 2 more rooms in Tulsi Nivas. But even before we go there, so 1 group, 2 groups. Okay, Kajal ji को उसी group में डालेंगे. Kajal and Roli Kapoor. Take their numbers and email IDs later. there can be 2 groups which can use this hall. I think I will leave the entire yes group here. 25 log hain. So I have catered to 3 groups here, right? So the Shivananda group stays here, Shankara group goes there, and Chinmaya group goes to the dining area. Then both of you, Tapovan and Ramana Maharshi group, they can go into Tulsi Nivas. Tulsi Nivas is the house backside and where you have the bookstore. So you both will be using 2 rooms there. Yes, so you should not be disturbing them, but there are other classrooms which have doors, you can do whatever inside. So the class, usually this ends at 5:30. Before I send you off into your various groups for today to know each other so that you can familiarize with yourself, I will tell you what to do. Does anybody have any questions? Yes. How come the best half doesn't come? That's why. How come this best half is?
So, what happens then? Do they just take your place in that same session, or do they go to a smaller session?
If there is a small child, and that is the issue, the idea would be ideally to have both husband and wife participate. If there is a sibling, if you have a child, younger one who is at home and they are taking care, we are thinking of doing some activity for these younger kids here, find a volunteer, which will be one of you, to help us out, create an activity for these kids. But if it is any other, probably they will be your replacement. Your name slash please join.
No, you both show up same group?
Same group. What to do? Or they go into Shankara group. Yes, Amma? Both of you are added into Shankara group. Any other questions? No questions? Good.
What is today's project after going there?
Yes, that I am going to cater to anyway. Today, I would request all of you to go into your individual spaces that has been mentioned and introduce yourselves, start knowing each other. When I say introduce yourself, it is not Uddhav. आगे पीछे कुछ बोलो. Brahmachari Uddhav Chaitanya, not the name. I am talking about your name, your profession, probably how many kids are here and how many children you have, and what are your hobbies. A very informal way that you would expect people to remember you. Make it as informal as possible so that they can remember. So introduce yourself, know each other, and the next 45 minutes you will spend knowing each other. And please do not leave your individual spaces until 2 minutes to 5:30. Because it is easier to control kids. When they are loitering around, they are chup and they are okay. जब बड़े लोगों को मैं क्या बोलूँ? Return they say chup है, where will I go? So please stay in your respective spaces till 2 minutes to 5:30. At 5:30, come to your individual classrooms wherever your children are and pick them up. Maybe our secretary ji, Sandhya ji, she will help these 2 groups find their spaces in Tulsi Nivas. So, yeah, first please, you both these groups can leave. Yeah, you can leave from that door. You can leave from that door. You can also leave from this door. Yeah, the other group. Can this group also get up and follow them? These team leads will be the moderators. Hold on. In your folders, are you all listening? I didn't hear. Yes. Especially the team leaders. Even the folders of last year, it's fine. It's uploaded on website. So contacts are always there. In your folders, you will have these contacts. Okay. In these contacts, find the name of Sambhu Manta. In the key contacts, you find the name of Sambhu Manta. His email ID is SAMBUMANTHA@msn.com. Tusi great ho ji. Oh, she said it. msn.com. So you send him this list, you put it in an Excel sheet and forward it to him saying that this is the list from third session Saket, and list group names and all these, so that you will forward it to him, and then we can consolidate it from all groups all over Saket and other groups, and then we will know. And you maintain it so that you have to take the attendance. That you can discuss now.
I just noticed on that list, just where they are, each ones. I don't have the names of all the leaders, but you'll get it from Sambhuji.
Sambhuji.